Hello everybody, long time no see, but today I'm going to be talking about the promises of God. And honestly, what I have kind of found when I was journaling is a story about Lot and his wife. And actually she's only remembered to be his wife in the story, and this is because Lot's blessing was tethered in God. So he had his purpose that was attached to him. And so when God gave the instruction to not go back, it was a warning for him and his wife, for his family, to just keep pursuing their mission that they were supposed to be designated on. And what she did was she turned around and looked back. And I felt like this was a profound moment in the story, which always hits everyone when they read this, because it's just showcasing what can happen when you're not submitting and being obedient to God's plan and his will for you. Now, this shows that she had more of a attachment, more of a longing and yearning to go back to what was the past. And this could look like a lot of things for us. And it's easy to just go back because it's familiar and it feels comfortable. And it's really something that you have to confront within yourself about why you are doing the things that you are doing, and what are you gaining from it? What are you losing from it? Because just in as much as you are deriving something from, a sin, or, just a want or a desire to do things in your own way, in your own understanding, you are directly compromising God's blessing over your life as well. And a lot of us don't think like that, because when we are entrapping ourselves in these routines and these behaviors of just destruction upon our souls and our lives and other people around us, we think that this is more of a reliable way of gaining what we think, because we're not fully trusting in what God says and who he is. We're not fully committing ourselves to the law and receiving his blessing and his inheritance over our lives, right? And what really is of note here is that it hardened her, and she turned into a pillar of salt, and it was like she was a symbol for everyone that came across her that, no, like, that's not how you should do things. That's not how we want to do things. And it's like he preserved her. He didn't kill her. He didn't have like a very brutal death. It was just like she was just frozen in time. And this just shows like how caring he is at the whims of our desperation and our frivolous deeds, right? And how we are remaining so inclined to do things, and we don't want to do them, but we do them because we are not fully obeying, and we are not fully giving our lives over to God. And what I've been reminded of is that God is not somebody that is going to take half. He's not going to take a sliver, or he's not going to do, you're halfway in and you're halfway out. No, you have to be 100% fully remaining and obeying to him in what he wants from you, because you cannot serve two masters. And this is a hard thing for us to grasp, because we are constantly uncertain. We don't know which way to go, and we are just human at the end of the day. But when you put your trust into something that is omniscient, that is way bigger than who you are and who you could ever be, then that is just giving so much more of a rest for your soul. And it's allowing you to really make decisions in your life that are of ease and that just flow. And that's where you want to be. Because if you are constantly hesitant about what you want to do or what decision you're going to make, then you're probably not going to make a decision at all. And if you do make a decision, it's not going to be something that you would probably actually do from your intuition and like what you would naturally do if you're really just listening to yourself and knowing from this deep place of just acceptance within, okay? And that is just the energy that you will be emanating if you are confining yourself within the natural law of what he has called you to look to in times where you are troubled and you feel like you don't know where to go. You have to come back to the truth that is there, and that is literally a guider and a tutor for you so that you can step out into faith when you have that trust built. And it is a constant seeking, it's a constant stretching out of this restriction that you have been leading your life from. And it's gonna be new and it's gonna feel weird, and you're gonna be like, I don't feel like this is the right way, but it is something that you need to be willing to open yourself up to. Because when you are putting yourself into a new wineskin, when you're filling yourself up with different experiences and people and really receiving what God has for you, you have to empty out the old and you have to allow yourself to be filled with a new way of being, a new way of thinking, new values, new morals, and allowing yourself to really be filled with this new creature that you are, okay? Because that's ultimately what you will be readjusting to, okay? So it says that in Luke 5:39 that no one drinking old wineskins immediately feels better, okay, when they change their way of directing their life, because it's not what they are used to, and it's gonna feel so yucky, and you're not gonna feel like you're doing the right thing, because you're not even really recognizing that everything that you are breaking off, all the barriers, all the things that were put upon your life, all the curses, all the bondage, is being broken, and it's not something that you could do. So that's why you can't understand it when things are changing, when people are receiving you in a different light, when you feel like you aren't being received in the way that you are and you're being misunderstood, or people are just not for you, and that's okay. And you're coming across all of this dissonance and confliction, and this is absolutely okay. And honestly, this is probably why it's starting from within, because you have to accept that when you are walking with God, you are literally going to be putting your finger up like you are married. You are a bride, okay? A bridegroom to him. And you're literally putting out into the face of the world like, I am his, and he's behind me in everything that I do. And just literally just shining that out to the world. That is what you need to do when you're called into his promise. Don't expect to receive when you're not willing to believe. when you are not actually claiming these things, when you are not giving your full attention into the law, into what he is trying to speak to you. You have to invest yourself into that to, get what comes from that, what directly flows from that. And to postpone yourself from these things is to, go back to your old, like Lot's wife did in a second. When God said, take your things, take your family, and flee for your life. But it wasn't upheld in the way that it should have. It wasn't taken as seriously as it should have. And when you are receiving these warnings, when you are seeing the results of your sin in your life, and you're seeing how you keep going back to the same old friendships, the same old people, the same old ways of thinking, the same habits, and you are questioning, why am I, receiving such anxiousness and like just so much betrayal and hurt and pain and just a longing for more? Well, it's because you are leading from a broken heart. You are leading from brittleness, and there's no flexibility within you. You're not willing to open yourself up to receive so much more greater and so much more blessings. Because are you willing to actually believe that this is true? Because faith is just that. Okay, we have all of the things applicable for it to move us forward into that, but genuinely it's your desire to seek that. It's your desire to live from that place. And if you're not, then you're going to just revert back into the same old ways, and it's just in callous attempts, and it's not going to bear any fruit. So I think that when you are trying to predict something, you are trying to take the place of God. You cannot do that. You have to lead with the unknowing. And this is how a lot of good experiences, honestly, that are more aligned with you actually show up, because you're willing to accept everything that's not. You're willing to face that those things that aren't made for you, they will directly shine forth, and you're willing to just move through that and accept it, because there's nothing that you can do, and you don't want to conform. You don't want to, allow anything external to change who you are. You want to be firm within your truth, your authenticity, and this is how God works through you. Okay? And this is how you're able to receive the promises, because how are you able to if you are not directly standing in who you are meant to be and who God is calling you to continuously walk forth in? Because he is a direct example of that. He never, compromised. He never allowed anything outside of him to, as rigid as it was, he never ever, fought. He never tried to prove himself. He just was. He just is. And if you're willing to just accept that, yeah, there are going to be some things that, come across that are inevitable, that you just kind of have to just accept, as everyone does, then you're going to be so much better off, because you are directly stepping into the image of Christ. And you are allowing other people to see that there is something there that they can also align themselves with. And it's not just for you, it's for you to share with everyone that you come across. And this is how these promises will be granted, if you are able to claim them and you are able to take what comes with it. Because there is a lot, but there is also a lot when you are not choosing to step into that as well, and you are only postponing it, and you might not even ever be able to inherit that, because you are not actually willing to face the things within yourself that you need to ultimately come into direct a position to take ownership of all of this. And it takes a lot of obedience and consistency to really just look at yourself in the rawness of those familiar ways and be like, you know what? This does not define me. This is just something that I might need to work on. This is just as malleable as pliable, what am I thinking of? Cardboard. Like, genuinely, we are made from dust, so we can be transformed in any way, and God will use you for your specific purpose in the way that you have, you know, lived. He will make it into something that is ultimately glorifying him, and you just have to be willing to give up parts of yourself for that. And honestly, it gets better. It really does. And honestly, you have not seen your best days yet. And this is why he says, don't look back, because for the former days are already past. And right now, as I always say, is the most precious moment, because you're never going to get it back. You're never going to get time back. This is the gift that he has granted us, to be able to change our ways of being, change our ways of thinking, and to directly always come back and face him and move towards him always continuously. And within everything that you do, just being focused in remaining in him. And honestly, just like sharing yourself with that which has allowed you to breathe. And what I'm honestly I'm dwelling on this thought because it's something that just popped back up. But it's like, when you are doing things, when you are going out into the world, when you are working, when you are doing acts of service, when you are, you know, just showing up, like every single day, just the littlest things, it could look different every single day. But what I want to say is that God has given you breath to perform these things. God has given you breath to go to that job that you might not like, or you might like. God has given you breath to work the multitude of, you know, hours for you to afford the things that you have. So don't take that in vain. Don't think that, oh, I have done these things, or I'm living for myself for these goals that I want, you know, to pay for this, to do this. And if you're not looking at what is there, what is actually allocating you breath to do these things, what is allowing you to be functional, what is allowing you these glimpses of connection in your life that make you feel fulfilled, the family that you have, the friends that you have, like all of these things, these are the preciousness. This is precious to a lot of us, but it's not something that you could ever do on your own volition. These are things that are perfectly crafted by God, and they are gifted for you to live with, to be with, for this time is short. And this is why I'm telling you that to remain in his inheritance is to ultimately be fulfilled with the least. And it's really never the least, because if you are content with what you have, then you will always be content wherever you are. And you won't be fueled by your own wants, which are actually blocking you from growing closer to God. They are barriers. And for you to really confide in him, you have to put away those things that you are idolizing, that you are making the first priority in your heart, in how you are moving, when you are so focused and your eyes are on God and He's the apple of your eye, you won't have any time to be focused on, oh, I want to do that, or I want to, you know, go back to my old ways, because you're just so in amazement, and you're so filled with just wonder of just how good God is. And that is what He calls us to do. So with all of that being said, I hope this video really does help you, and I hope that you're able to allow this to just penetrate into your heart, and whatever, you know, comes out of it, that is exactly what should be. And I wish you guys so much love, so much peace, and so much joy into your life and to what you will make from it, from this moment. Thank you so much, guys, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye.